Okay. Well, welcome to Thursday. I am grateful that you're here. If you weren't able to make either Sunday or Monday, my name is Jen Kem. I work for Cancer Bridges, and I am the facilitator of the Happy Feet program. So I'm thrilled to have everybody here today. And Thursday's one of the best days of the program. We have two wonderful individuals who are from, if you have, some of you have this book. If you don't, it's Moving Through Cancer by Dr. Catherine Schmitz. If you don't have it, I highly recommend you get a copy of it. It really is a great guidebook for exercising through cancer, and it gives a lot of tips, but also gives you sort of guideposts and ways to measure yourself. So both Dr. Potiampai and Adeline are from the program that is housed at UPMC, and they can tell you a little bit more about it. But just to share a little bit about Dr. Potiampai, she's an assistant professor in the Department of Medicine at the University of Pittsburgh and UPMC Hillman Cancer Center, and the co-director of the UPMC Moving Through Cancer program. Her research focuses on the role of using exercise to improve physical, functional, and psychosocial outcomes before, during, and after treatment, and providing resources to people living with and beyond cancer to help prepare for and recover from treatment. So the next, Adeline can introduce herself in a minute, but the next, all of the whole series of Thursdays, we will have both Dr. Potiampai and Adeline with us. And they will, today is an assessment, and then they will guide us through different exercises. Each session will be recorded, so you can go back and use them again to just make sure your form is correct and everything is going well. But I'm very grateful for them to give us their expertise and their time. So now I will turn it over, and if I will unpin myself. And if you want to, Dr. Potiampa, you can take it away, and then Adeline can introduce herself.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I see some familiar faces, which I'm really happy about to see everyone back who's excited for exercise and some new faces. And I'm also excited for you too to really get into your exercise journey, whatever that looks like for the next 7 weeks. So I'm not going to go too much into introduction because I want to leave time for Adeline to introduce herself, but to also go through the essentially the curriculum that we've developed for the next 7 weeks. So I'll really be in the background. I fully trust Adeline only because I know I've trained Adeline to, go through the exercises with you, give you tips on how to correct form, and I'll be in the background to make sure, watching as you do the exercises to make sure that you're doing them safely, and to answer any questions that Adeline might not be able to answer to the full extent for you. Today, and Alan will explain this in a very short PowerPoint, we're going to be doing functional assessments. So I will be recording your results. And the point of that is to see where you're starting now and how you progress over the next 6, 7 weeks. And we'll repeat this again. She'll go into detail about what that looks like. But in short, is that after every functional assessment that you're going to be doing today, I will be recording those results. So I'll need you to put your results in the chat function in Zoom. And there's no rush. We're a very, small, intimate group. So take your time. We'll do the assessments. Adeline and I will remind you to put the results in the chat. We'll record it and then we'll move on to the next one. But other than that, I'm here for any questions that you might have over the next 7 weeks, whether it's more guidance about how to get into your exercise routine or overcome any barriers that you might experience if you're on treatment or just coming off treatment, or just any barriers in general. Life, honestly, is a big one that gets in the way of exercise. So we're an open resource to you over the next 7 weeks. So please feel free to reach out. We're really honestly never too busy to chat about exercise. It really gives us a nice break and it gives a perspective to the work that we do sitting at a desk most days. So please feel free to reach out. Other than that, I'll hand it over to Adeline. She'll tell you all about herself and what we're going to be doing today.
Awesome. Thank you, Melanie and Jen. I will go ahead and share my screen. I think it is having me send a request to share my screen. Oh, perfect. Awesome. And awesome. Here we go. So this is our slides for today. Welcome again to your first week of Happy Feet. For those of you guys who don't know me, my name is Adeline Farrington. I'm a research and health and fitness coordinator at the UPMC Home and Cancer Center. Like Jen said, I also work on Moving Through Cancer, but my main focus is in the MOVE lab. We officially have a lab name, Momentum in Oncology via Exercise. I work alongside Melanie and Kara, who is not here today, but she's another coordinator. We do a lot of work with exercise and cancer, and that's a lot of what we'll be talking about. First slide, I know Jen and Melanie already mentioned it already, but we are going to do functional assessments today. Like Melanie said, if you feel comfortable putting your results in the chat, after each assessment, we will go ahead and take a minute or two pause to let you write everything down. I'll go over everything you have to write down as well, and go over the assessments in depth, and feel free to ask any questions. A couple reminders, if you weren't here for our first couple minutes, please make sure you have your assistive device or personal aid if you have one, water because hydration is very important, a chair with no arms preferably. It just makes doing the bicep curls easier. If you have one with arms, that's okay as well. And then your dumbbells, preferably like Melanie said, 5 pounds for women, 8 pounds for men. Or if you don't have dumbbells or don't feel comfortable using those 5 or 8 pounds, you're more than welcome to use one of your resistance bands or a household item. For example, I just have a can of soup that you could use for bicep curls as well. And then once again, safety is our #1 priority. So if you do not feel comfortable doing any of these assessments, feel free to skip any of them. They're not mandatory. Everything is on your own. With that being said, we'll get into the little bit of education that we have today. It's not too long. It'll take about 5 minutes, but first slide kind of just describes aerobic exercise versus resistance training. In these next 7 weeks, we're really going to focus on the resistance training aspect, but it's super important to make sure you're informed on both aspects. So aerobic exercise is any physical activity that uses large muscle groups. And because you're using these big, large muscle groups that can sometimes be your entire body, your muscles need a lot of oxygen to help you keep going during your aerobic exercise. Therefore, you can experience an increase in heart rate and also an increase in the amount of breaths you take, which is completely normal. You're exerting a lot of energy, which makes sense. Some examples of aerobic exercise is walking, running, swimming, cycling. Some people may have used like an arm ergometer. That's a great example too. And then over to our other side, we have resistance training. This is what we're going to be focusing a lot on these next couple weeks. This is any exercise where your muscles are working against an external resistance. The external resistance could be your own body weight. It could be resistance bands, which we'll be working a lot with. It can also be exercise machines. If you go into a gym and you see the machines with weights on them, can be also household items. So if you don't have, resistance bands or dumbbells or exercise equipment, you can also use soup cans or milk jugs to still work your muscles against that external force. All right, and now the big question of why. Why do we want to do resistance training? Why is it beneficial? It's not only beneficial to help relieve specific symptoms, whether you're in cancer treatment or you're a survivor of cancer, but it's also great for your overall health. The guidelines are posted on this slide. It's recommended that you get about 150 to 300 minutes of aerobic exercise per week, which is a lot, or about 75 to 150 minutes per week of vigorous exercise. And this is also in combination with 2 sessions of resistance training exercise, working all your muscle groups per week. Now, I know this seems like a lot and can be very overwhelming. So even if you don't meet the current guidelines, lower amounts of exercise can still help with all of these 8 symptoms that are on the bottom of the screen that you could either be experiencing while you're on your cancer treatment or even still have lingering symptoms with after you are done with your treatment. And is there only one method of resistance training? Absolutely not. There are so many different ways to resistance train. We're going to go over resistance training for endurance, resistance training for strength, and also resistance training for balance, because I know that's a big one in this population with neuropathy. We're going to go over all these different types of resistance training and how to resistance train for your goals, whether it's health related or just overall wanting to feel better about yourself and your cancer journey. All right, that is my little educational spiel for today. Before we get into the functional assessments, this is just kind of how the rest of the session is going to go. I'm going to introduce the assessment, briefly give an introduction, demonstrate it, make sure you guys don't have any other questions. I'll say ready, set, go, and each of these assessments is going to be timed. So I will time everybody together, making sure everyone goes at the same time. When time is up, I will say stop and relax. And then we will go ahead and write the results of the assessments in the chat. If you feel comfortable doing so, Melanie and I will get everything down and we'll repeat the same thing for each of the assessments. Does anyone have any questions so far? No. Awesome. Looks good. All right. With that being said,
yeah, I have a question.
Oh, yes.
I came in late. So are we supposed to do this with weights?
For some of them, you're going to have either dumbbells or resistance bands. And if you don't have either of those, you're more than welcome to grab a household item like
Okay.
I have a soup can here, for example, to be used for bicep curls.
Okay. Yeah, I have mine. I just didn't know if you already talked about that.
Oh, yeah, no worries. Great question,
Okay.
though. All right, with that being said, we are going to get into some warm-up exercises because we can't go right into the assessments. So if everyone's comfortable, you can either stand or be seated. I'm going to demonstrate each of the warm-up exercises. We're going to do 10 repetitions of each of them. And you can either do these standing or seated. I will demonstrate both ways. All right. So our first warm-up exercise is going to be heel raises. I will go ahead and demonstrate these standing and seated. First, for our heel raises or our calf raises standing. For some extra support, you can put the tips of your finger on a chair in front of you. We're going to shift the weight onto our toes and squeeze our calf muscles and then slowly lower back down. Exercise seated. It'll be the same concept. Scoot to the edge of your seat. Good posture, looking forward, shifting the weight into our toes, squeezing our calf muscles. All right, and if everyone wants to follow along with me, we're going to do 10 of these, and I'll count out loud. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, halfway, 6, 7, 8, 9, last one, 10. Awesome job. We can go ahead and relax. Sometimes it helps to shake out the legs a little bit. Is that first one okay with everybody?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Do you want I don't know how to make the slide smaller.
Finally, maybe if you could stop sharing.
Oh, yeah.
So if you want to put it, you can share while you describe the exercise, and when you're going to go do it, go ahead and stop sharing so they
Okay.
can see you.
You can put it on speaker view so that the speaker is the only screen that we see when
Well,
she's
you
done.
can you can do that personally at home. Yeah.
Oh.
Alrighty. Our next warm-up exercise is going to be toe raises. So similarly, we're going to have the chair set up in front of us. If we're going to do it standing, fingertips are on the edge. And this time, we're just going to slightly lift our toes off the ground, squeeze those shin muscles, and then slowly lower back down. Lift them up, lower them back down. And same thing seated. We're going to be just like this on the edge of our seat. lifting our toes up and back down. All right, we're gonna do 10 repetitions of these. You can follow along. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, last one, and 10. Awesome. Our next 2 warm-up exercises are going to be seated. So if you are not seated already, you can go ahead and do so. I will move my camera slightly. All right, our next warm-up exercise is going to be shoulder rolls. So we're going to be seated on the edge of our seat. Feet are planted, shoulders are rolled down and back, looking forward, keeping our arms at our sides. As we inhale, we're going to bring our shoulders up towards our ears. And as we exhale, we're going to round, squeeze our shoulder blades together. And I'll turn this way so you guys can see me. Bringing our shoulders up to our ears, round and squeeze the shoulder blades. Awesome. We're going to do 10 of these. You can follow along with me, or you can go at your own pace. That's 2, 3, awesome. Everyone on camera looks great. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, last one, 10. Awesome. We're going to do shoulder rolls again, but we're going to do it in the opposite direction. So this time we're going to bring our shoulders up and then bring our shoulders forward, rounding our back and bringing them down. All right, once again here, bringing them up and forward, rounding our back. Awesome. We're going to do 10 more of these. That was 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Everyone looks great. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Awesome. You can shake out your shoulders, your arms a little bit. This is our last warm-up exercise. We're going to do some leg extensions. So for this one, we're going to be scooted to the edge of our seat. You want to make sure our back is glued to the chair. That's going to give us some extra support. You can either keep your hands on your hips, or if you want to hold on to the chair, you can do that as well. Whatever feels best. And as we exhale, we're going to extend both of our legs out, squeezing our quad muscles, and then slowly lowering them back down. You guys can follow along with me. We're going to do 10 of these as well. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, making sure we're keeping good posture. 5, 6, 7, 8, 2 more. 9, last one. 10. Awesome. You can give your legs a little shake and some love. And we're going to go ahead and start with our first assessment. I will go ahead, start sharing my screen again so we can go over the details. Awesome. Perfect. All right. So first assessment we're doing today is a balance assessment. We're going to do 3 different positions, and we're going to try and hold each of the positions for only 10 seconds. It's just going to be 10 seconds. I will once again say, ready, set, go. When I say go, everybody together will try and hold the position for 10 seconds. And on the left side of the screen, we have what you should write down or what you should put in the chat. For the balance test, since it's 3 of them together, if you could write down your score for all 3 of them and then send it into the chat, would be easiest.
No, I'm going to contradict you on that.
Okay.
Sorry.
No.
So when we're going to do this first test, it's going to take 10 seconds. I'm going to have you put your first name, last initial, if you did it, yes or no, or if you did not participate. That's all. So first name, last initial, yes, no, or did not participate. And then we'll go on to the second balance test. But we'll remind you after the test what you can put in the chat. So again, there's also no rush to get the results in like immediately. So don't trip over your feet after doing a balance test to get the results in. Okay.
Okay, awesome. If everyone wants to go ahead and come to standing for those who are going to participate. I like to bring my chair next to me with my feet facing the camera, just so I can hold on to the chair in case I need the support. So for our first one, we're going to bring both the insides of our feet together so they're touching. And let's everybody grab onto your chair. I'm going to say ready, set, go, and we're going to try and let go of the chair and hold the position. All right. I'll let everyone get into position. Awesome. If everyone's ready, and ready, set, go, let go of the chair. Hold in this position for 10 seconds. And relax. Awesome job. If everyone wants to go ahead and put their either yes or no along with their first name, last initial in the chat, that would be great. Awesome. As everyone's wrapping that up, I just shared my screen again, so you should see the position of your feet for the second balance position. Once again, we're going to try and hold this for 10 seconds. And on the left side of the screen, once again, you're going to either send yes or no, along with your name and first initial.
Question, you're doing it in your socks and I'm doing it in my sneakers. Does that matter?
No, actually sneakers is preferred. Good question though. Awesome. I will go ahead and stop sharing. And once again, let's go ahead, hold on to that chair as we get barefoot is okay as well. Really whatever is most comfortable for you. Hold on to our chair. We're going to bring one of our feet slightly forward. It does not matter which foot you bring slightly forward. All right, as long as everyone's ready. In 3, 2, 1, let go of that chair and hold. And relax. Awesome job. Once again, let's go ahead and put either our yes or no along with our name and first initial of our last name. Awesome. As everyone is finishing that up, I will go ahead and share my screen again. And this is going to be our last balance position. It should be 1 foot completely in front of the other. You guys will also see it when I demonstrate it. Once again, we're just going to try and hold it for 10 seconds. And as everyone's finishing up, we can get situated. This one's definitely the trickiest, so I'll let everyone get ready before we start, kind of find their balance. Awesome. Everyone on camera looks good and ready, set, go. This one can be a little tricky. And relax. Awesome job. Now, once again, we're going to either send our yes, we completed the full 10 seconds, or no, we did not, and your name and initial. Awesome. As everyone's finishing that up, I just shared my screen again, flip to the next slide. Our next assessment is going to be a 2-minute step test. This test can be completed.
Hold on, Adeline. We got to make sure that everyone's got their results in first, because I have some 2 out of 3, 1 out of 3. So I want to make sure that
Okay.
the chat is coming through correctly. We want to make sure everyone gets their results at the very end. So give me 1 second. So if you want some water, now's a really good time to do that.
Yes, I was about to say, if anyone wants to take a little water break, you're more than welcome to grab some.
Okay.
Awesome. We'll move on to our second assessment. The second one is going to be a 2-minute step test. Basically, you are stepping in place for 2 minutes. You want to be lifting your foot about 6 inches off the ground. It's kind of like if you were stepping from the road onto a curb. That's kind of how high you want your foot to be off the ground. If you don't want to do this standing, you can also complete this test seated as well. And on that left side of the screen, you're going to write down the number of times you lift your right foot or your leg off of the ground. So, for example, if I am marching like this, I'm going to say 1, 2,
Can't see you.
3. And continue counting the amount of times my right leg comes off of the ground.
Adeline, can you stop sharing and demonstrate one more time?
Oh, yes. Sorry
Please,
about
thank
that.
you.
There we go.
I'm sorry about that. So when I'm doing the marches, you can have your chair in front of you with your fingertips on it. If you want some aid in your balance, you can also just do one hand, but I'm going to count the number of times my right leg comes off the ground. So when we start, 1, 2, 3, just like that. Okay? We're going to be marching in place for 2 minutes. And just make sure you guys count the number of times your right leg comes off the ground for those full 2 minutes. I will also be timing the whole time, so don't worry about that. And I will let you guys know when we're about a minute in, and then I'll tell everyone when to stop.
Are we supposed to go as fast as we can, or what?
Yes, you want to complete as many repetitions or as many marches as you can, while keeping in mind safety as well. Good question, though. Is everyone ready to begin?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. We'll go ahead and get situated. You can either do one hand here or both. It's up to you. All right. Ready, set, go. Just going at whatever pace is most comfortable. Awesome. We are 1 minute in, halfway. Everyone's doing great. Awesome. Almost there. And go ahead and stop. Make sure we remember the number of times our right foot or leg came off the ground. And I will once again share my screen.
So go ahead and put your first name, last initial, how many times your right leg lifted off of the ground. And if you did it seated, just let me know. If you did it standing, you don't have to put that you did it standing. Got a bunch of track athletes here. Numbers are crazy.
And this is another great opportunity to grab some water, especially because we just exerted ourselves a little bit. Everyone feeling good after that?
No, I'm tired.
I feel that.
I'm sweaty, I'm hot.
You guys did awesome.
Um, just double checking. Did you do the 2-minute step test?
So for our third assessment, we have the 30-second bicep curl. For this one, you're going to do as many bicep curls as you can in 30 seconds. Make sure you also pick out which item you're going to use to do your bicep curl, whether it's a resistance band, a can of soup, or your dumbbell.
Okay, you can switch to your next exercise if you want to.
Melanie, you good?
Yep, thank you.
Okay, awesome. This is going to be our last assessment. It's going to be a 30-second chair stand, also known as a sit to stand, where we start seated and stand up and keep standing up and sitting down for 30 seconds. So for this one, I will go ahead and demonstrate as well. For this one, we're going to be starting seated, making sure our feet are flat on the ground, legs are about a 90-degree angle, and we're scooted to almost the edge of our chair. We want to make sure we're not super far in. We're going to either cross our hands over our chest or do hands on hips. Really whatever feels best, especially if you have a port up here. I know that can be sensitive. As we exhale, we're going to shift our weight forward and come to standing. And then as we inhale, we're going to shift our weight back and come back to seated. So we're going to see how many of these we can do in 30 seconds. Once again, trying to do them as fast as possible while making sure we are safe. If you're not comfortable standing up and sitting back down, instead you can just do as many leg extensions as you can do in 30 seconds. Does anyone have any questions about our sit to stands before we start? Awesome. Okay, let's go ahead and get set up. Once again, just remember, we're keeping that number in mind as we go through this. All right. And if we're all situated and ready, set, go. Awesome. Everyone looks great. And rest. Awesome job, everybody.
So go ahead and put in the chat, first name, last initial, how many stands that you did. And if you did it seated, go ahead and tell me if you did it seated. If you didn't do it seated, you don't need to put any indication.
That was all the assessments today. Great job, everyone. Give yourselves a big pat on the back or a round of applause. Some snaps, whatever works for you. This is kind of our itinerary for the next 7 weeks. As we can see, our week 1, we did the 4 Happy Feet assessments, like Melanie said, to see kind of how we progress throughout the next 7 weeks. Our weeks 2 and 3 are going to be resistance training for endurance. Weeks 4 and 5 are going to be resistance training for strength. Then our last week is going to be resistance training for balance. And in our week 7, we'll finally do those assessments that we did today one more time, just to see if there are any differences, see if you guys feel any different after doing our resistance training. For next week, please make sure you bring those resistance bands if you didn't bring them today. If you need an assistive device or anyone else to help you while you're exercising, make sure we have that as well, because tomorrow or next week will also be a little bit of education, but then most of the session will be spent with me going through all of our exercises and we doing a couple sets as well. And then again, enough space around you to complete the exercises. Everyone with their camera on looked like they had plenty of space. Looks great. And of course, smiles and excitement to learn some new stuff next week. With that being said, I think that is all I have for you guys today. It was great meeting a lot of you, seeing some new faces and also seeing some old ones. But great job today.